From the Detroit Free Press in the heart of the Motor City, it's Monday, January 27th. Here are today's top stories. Brought to you by JB's Smokehouse, located inside Bush's Fresh Food Market of Canton. JB's offers a range of authentic barbecue favorites, from beef brisket and mac and cheese to fried green tomatoes and pulled pork tacos. JB's is sure to become your new favorite barbecue spot.
This is Phoebe Wall-Howard with the Detroit Free Press Autos team. Brian Carroll is a car salesman from Macomb Township, Michigan, and he's celebrating a one-year anniversary of being fired. Fired from his job, fired with no notice, fired after 8 years at a car dealership selling General Motors vehicles. He walks in on one January morning and has a handshake, is told his services aren't needed anymore because the company needs to do some cost cutting. So Brian Carroll jumps in his car, calls his wife crying, has no idea what he's going to do because he's been selling cars pretty much his whole life until he gets a phone call from a customer who says, "I want a car." And Brian Carroll says, "I don't sell cars anymore at the dealership." And the buyer says, "I don't care about the dealership." That's when Brian Carroll decided to become a car concierge and do what is a new trend in America, the changing attitudes and habits of car buyers. The latest studies show people aren't happy with their options. Today, the car salesman who was fired is selling 30 to 35 cars a month, sometimes as many as 50. Many of his clients are in Michigan, some as far as New York and Florida. But this is a new model. He brings them to your home. He picks things up at your office. And this is something we're monitoring very, very closely. Sometimes what you think is the worst isn't the worst at all, Angela Carroll said.
For the Detroit Free Press Auto Team, I'm Jamie LaRue. One of the country's biggest car dealers and legendary NASCAR team owner Rick Hendrick just added a new Corvette to his collection. Hendrick paid $3 million to buy the first-to-be-built 2020 mid-engine Corvette Stingray. He got it at the Barrett-Jackson Scottsdale auction in Arizona earlier this month. Hendrick said he's dreamed of GM making the mid-engine sports car since he was a teenager. He only prayed the bids for the VIN-1 car would not exceed his budget. It didn't, but it came close. The $3 million in proceeds will go to the Detroit Children's Fund. Hendrick lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he has a 58,000 square foot garage. There he stores the nearly 210 rare cars that he owns. Of those, 120 are Corvettes, none of which he ever drives. Now it will be 121.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. A story trending on social media this week reveals a massive puddingstone boulder was found in Michigan. Every school child in the state knows about the Petoskey Stone, the official state rock, but puddingstone is Michigan's lesser-known gem. Puddingstones are a conglomerate of colorful pebbles held together like a Christmas pudding. In Michigan, they're usually white quartzite full of red jasper. The story said the stone may be the biggest one ever found. It was reported mostly from a YouTube video. Only there was a small problem. The rock was spotted a year and a half ago, and its prodigious size is in dispute. The Alpena math teacher who found the stone said he was surprised and delighted to see the interest in his video, although he added, the pudding stone he uncovered is hardly the largest. The article's author clarified he deliberately qualified his claim with the words, maybe, so it's all good.
This is Bisma Pervez with the Detroit Free Press. The library is a place where you can find all the information you need. But that wasn't the case for two teenage sisters from Michigan. 2 years ago, Zina and Mina Nasri couldn't find any books about Muslim women for a school project. To solve the problem, they started a non-profit organization called Girls of the Crescent. Their goal is to increase the number of books in libraries and schools with Muslim female characters. Zina and Mina have donated over 700 books to libraries around the community. Their work has even spread to different states and countries, like Morocco, Hong Kong, France, and England. They've even got a donation that's ready to ship to Nigeria. Now the ambitious sisters have written their own book. It's a biography of 50 inspirational Muslim women from the past to the present. This way, no one faces the same problem they did. If you want to add Muslim female characters to your library, you can reach out to the Girls of the Crescent.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, and a look back at the Tigers' winter caravan. The boys of summer are back. Well, sort of. The Detroit Tigers players, coaches, and prospects spent much of the last week in and around town, meeting fans, signing autographs, and taking pictures. It was kind of like a first date between a team and a fan base before the guys head down to Lakeland for spring training. One question entering the 2020 season, though: they can't be as bad as last year, right? The Tigers signed the first baseman and second baseman from the Twins last season, C.J. Cron and Jonathan Scope, but they are still in the rebuilding phase. And the players with the most buzz these days are still just prospects. Pitchers and catchers report for the Tigers 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Do you like what you're hearing in our news briefing? Let us know, whether it's a question, comment, or something you just want to hear. You can share your opinion by emailing us at voice@freep.com. That's voice@freep.com. See you tomorrow.